welcome to Collaboratory, the show where Mike Morris improvises an animatic with a little help from our audience, and we learn about the craft of storyboarding along the way. If you're joining us live, today we're looking for prompts for characters, a setting, and a conflict. So don't be shy. Feel free to jump in with your suggestions, and whatever you type whatever you type might show up on the screen. I was doing so well too. Mike, how are you doing today?
Good, man. You had it so together until like that little tongue tie, and
Did
it was so entertaining. It was so entertaining.
I hope it was. So to give our viewers some inspiration, I just want to mention that in our last episode, we explored an undersea prison brig with an octopus warden and explored drawing backgrounds with lights and shadows. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good one. I enjoyed it. Yeah. So give us your suggestions, please. Again, we're looking for characters, we're looking for a setting, and we're looking for a conflict. It's three main building blocks of any story.
And while we wait for suggestions to come in, Mike, as a professional artist, is there a subject that you just really enjoy drawing?
I like drawing a lot of different things. I think what I gravitate towards is mostly like if I can draw a joke, like just something my friends and I have been talking about, or like some sort of little like inside joke or something like that. Sometimes there's slightly editorial cartoons. I tend to draw those for fun, just for a cheap laugh, maybe. I guess.
You like label characters those jerks holding like little bags that say our stuff.
No, nothing like that. If the drawing doesn't stand on its own, it doesn't get done. So, like, there was one I was having a conversation with a friend who was talking about a international counterpart at the company she's working for. This was really uptight German guy, so I drew a picture of a really like blocky, stiff German guy with like a collar that was too tight, and she got a good laugh out of that. But like, little things like I've drawn you several times just for kicks and giggles. Caricatures are fun. But I like drawing a lot of different things. Superheroes, spaceships, monsters, fantasy settings. As you know, both of us share an affinity for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. So there's lots to explore there artistically. Yeah, I like drawing all kinds of things. And I think as a storyboard artist, it's good to be able to draw a lot of things because you're often going to be called upon to draw things that you don't normally draw. So the wider your repertoire of stuff is, the better off you are. If you can draw horses, if you can draw, other animals, if you can make up animals from different animals, if you're good at drawing people who are, tall, short, thin, fat, looking at different proportions and heads and faces. It's almost like in sometimes you'll kind of be called upon to be like an impromptu character designer, like working on a show and like, well, we've got this character in the script, but nobody knows what it looks like, and your board's due Wednesday. Good luck, and you just have to kind of go to it. On this show, we create characters out of nothing. So it's a good skill to be able to do. Even if your characters don't look like super refined at first, they'll get there. But they just need like that.
Some suggestions that are coming in that I think maybe they heard you mention drawing horses. One is zebras, the other is unicorns, and a situation which is selling used cars.
So unicorns selling used cars, or zebras, or both.
Yeah, it could be either. What do you think?
I'm gravitating towards unicorns, huh?
Maybe like a unicorn with like a zebra stripe pattern tie.
Well, I would say because of the
complicated
time constraint that we have.
Okay, all right.
That
simplify.
Drawing a bunch of stripes might be a bit of a time investment. So unicorns. See, we have one unicorn, and we need another fantasy creature of some kind to be the customer. And now we need a conflict too. So we have a setting, we have used car lot in, fantasy world. And then we have one character, unicorn. Now we need another character. So,
what are the ones that have like 3 heads, like a goat's head, a dragon's head, and
Chimera?
some? That's the one. Because then you could sort of have an argument between the 3 of them while they're buying the car.
Okay. That would be kind of funny. But is that from you or is that from the chat?
That is more from me. So the chat is welcome
Okay.
to introduce more characters too.
So if the chat
We've
want to
got-
back Mike up, then you could do that.
There's a fun one that was added. So I'm not sure if we have the rights to include a beholder, but if we had some sort of generic eyeball monster, that might be doable. Another suggestion is minotaur.
Minotaur. Okay. A minotaur and a unicorn in a used car lot. Okay. I can get behind that. I think we've started so many of these storyboards with some kind of establishing shot. I think we should start this one with a close-up.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
We'll have a tire right here. And notice that I'm putting the middle of this tire a little bit closer on one side than the other, because tires have this part where they sort of are in, which is something that is always good to be able to put that into a storyboard.
It's a little concave.
Yeah. So, what kind of car? Are we looking at a hatchback? We looking at a? I think it would be kind of funny to have a car that's like way too small for the Minotaur.
Yeah, I also think too that because the subjects are so fantastical for contrast, the car needs to be really boring.
Yeah, like an Onward type situation.
Yeah.
Let's select that. We'll turn that gray, and that should be, by all rights, on the background.
Now, a minotaur has like a human body bull head, right?
Yeah, but also hoofed feet. It's kind of like head and anything below the torso, and then human torso.
Okay. So a little bit of a satyr situation.
Yeah, kind of like that, actually. And minotaurs are often a subject of much controversy because they don't necessarily all tend toward being evil. So, I mean, the original one from the Greek myths was essentially just some sort of crazy creation that was meant to guard a labyrinth. And then just minotaurs kind of took off from there as a subject of fantasy.
And since he's a figure of Greek mythology, it's not under copyright by Wizards of the Coast.
It's true. So we can do with minotaurs what we feel like. Darn it. And if any people from Wizards of the Coast are watching, feel free to sponsor the show.
We would take them up on that offer.
And provide us with fun books.
So, Michael, while you're working on that, I want to ask, do you still draw recreationally, or do you find that you prefer to have a project to work towards?
I don't know. I feel like working professionally, sometimes I have to be really excited about something to draw recreationally, which is kind of sad in a way, because that's what I always used to do, was draw recreationally. But demands on your time, right? So in a way, I feel like it's kind of not as great that I don't draw recreationally anymore, but I try to every so often. Something that I'm really sort of like interested in as a subject matter, or something that I'm really find myself being passionate about in a moment. Yeah, I'll draw recreationally. If you're around friends and you're like just drawing and sketching around and goofing off, then that's always fun too. So we'll add like a little bit of
Oh yeah, those banners.
with the little, and then maybe have like the little blow up guy in the background. Woo!
Yeah, the wacky wave inflatable. Yeah.
Yes.
So while
Hypnotic.
Mike Morris is working on the wacky wave inflatable tube man, we still need a conflict because we have characters, we have a setting, but what are they in conflict about?
Okay. So now we're gonna have, I think, just a hoof come in and kick the tire.
Now, is the tire going to survive this kick, or
Well, if it doesn't, he's probably not gonna buy the car.
yeah.
Now, I don't think a minotaur's hoof is cloven, if I remember, because I think they're based on more of a bovine persuasion, which would necessitate a hoof that is not cloven. All right. So let's do that. Do that. So any conflicts coming around?
I think we're still waiting for conflicts to come in, but I am really curious to see the outcome of the. Oh, we have one comment for a conflict about hoovy things. I'm
Must
not
be
sure
more
what that would be
specific.
though. Yeah, yeah. Although
Must
I
be
I,
more
I do love
specific.
I do love big prompts. They're fun.
Hoofy things. So like
Hoovy
they're
things.
okay. I have a kind of a conflict based on hoofy things. Okay. So I think that this Minotaur really isn't here to buy a car. It's here to talk to other hoofed beings about hooves, about some problems he's having with his hooves. And the unicorn's trying to get him to buy the car, but he doesn't want to talk about buying cars. He just wants to talk about like medical problems or something.
Okay, like you got like a hoof fungus or something, or
Yeah.
like how do you I don't
How
know
do you
enough about
keep
hooves to
them
really
hooves so
contribute though.
shiny? I just, I have such a problem. So we need just like a little teeny bit here in the front with nothing in it. So, oh, I do this sometimes when I split a scene and then go to the wrong thing to delete. It happens. But now we have boop, and then clip, and then we're gonna just take this middle one and just scoot it back a little bit. Put pivot point up here, give it a good rotation, and just a slight adjustment. So we have nothing, and then come in, tap, and then let's copy that panel, and then we'll just have a nice little step onto the ground. Grab this and sort of manipulate it so it looks nice and grounded. Okay.
If you're watching this live, can you send in facts about hooves that we can then draw on for jokes in this scene?
All right. So we've got the close up that we started with because we're doing something different than before, and then we we have somewhat of an establisher, but it's not like a wide establishing shot like we have done in the past. Okay, so I'm thinking that right now we need just like a car right here, and then you know, a actually this car would be on a um, what's called an OLUL, or an overlay underlay layer, which harkens back to stuff from more traditional animation, more traditional cell animation. And let's put like the little deal making hut over here, and it's gonna have like a small little
station.
castle or something, some kind of small castle motif. Kingdoms of savings. And then
Bad King Joffrey's used car.
Yeah, right. Like little torches or something up here. These banners. Sale. What would be like a fun fantasy holiday?
I feel like that's a prompt. I feel like that is a prompt that our viewers should provide us.
I think
So if you have a
you're
fantasy
right.
holiday, please give us some suggestions.
So let's put our friend the Minotaur right here. Big bull horns. That, and of course the big steer ears. And then behind our OLUL, we're going to have the ever patient unicorn with hair flowing, because unicorn hair always flows. It never stays still. But unicorn is a little overworked and underpaid. So not necessarily happy about being here.
I mean, the unicorn's got to make commission, right? So if the Minotaur is not buying, then
yeah, I think just the collar with the tie.
Oh, I like that.
Works. So it's nothing else but just a collar.
Little Yogi Bear, right?
Yeah, definitely. On the more Hanna-Barbera spectrum of cartoons. Is that a thing? Like, I think about like spectrums of various like, I don't know if diseases is the right word, or like conditions, various spectrums of conditions.
I would say that the classic Hanna-Barbera cartoons are a little bit like the UPA cartoons, where there's a bit more limited animation. They're getting a lot out of individual drawings.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff is almost like direct descendants of UPA.
I mean, you can get really far with just the very iconic style.
Yeah, well, a lot of the old Warner Brothers shows, especially in the Chuck Jones portfolio of episodes or of shorts, oftentimes you'll see him stop in just a very strong pose, and it doesn't feel like it's lifeless because it's not moving. It just is a very strong pose and works. And you can stand there and just have a couple little things moving, like a muzzle twitch where you see the whiskers go up and down. Okay, so Minotaur is going to stand up. It's to his full height, and he is going to be enormous. So we're gonna have him stand up and be like super tall. With his giant, like, hulking muscles. So how much is this? I don't know. What? Give me a good Minotaur voice.
Now,
And of course
would a
he has to
Minotaur
have
have
like
like a,
that
a low sort of intimidating
very.
voice, or would they have sort of like a bit more of a bovine voice?
Maybe I should buy this vehicle. I don't know. That's terrible.
Uh,
That's terrible. Don't watch that, people. Don't watch this. Don't. I'm just embarrassing myself at this point. Okay,
like that. I
so
think that'd be fun for big intimidating character.
yeah, to have like a voice that's always like inadvertently mooing.
Yeah.
Have you moved many cars today? I don't know. So I have a little character that it's like a puppet that sometimes I'll play with my kids, and it's a blue whale puppet I have in my hand, and so I think that's my whale voice. Hello, have you seen a whale around here? So I think
Uh,
that's where that comes from.
Very Finding Nemo.
Very, yeah.
Oh, we've got a few suggestions for holidays. There is Hornfest. There is Mare Oral Day. Oriole Day.
Mayoral Day?
Yeah, but like with horse.
Oh, Mayoral Day. Okay.
Mare Oriole Day. And the Minotaur wants amazing details. That was from Anna Bethar.
Amazing details. Oh, like it's like a
So
labyrinth
labyrinth.
maze. Uh-huh. Let's see. Okay. Think about those. I'm not sure which one to pick. So we're gonna gloss over that for right now.
All right.
Um,
Go with the
happy.
holidays. It does need workshopping.
It does need
But
workshopping. Yeah, I feel like we've got a couple sparks there, but nothing to commit to pick yet.
there's also Mare Memorial Day. I think.
Memorial Day. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, so now we've got this, and we've got the unicorn. I'm thinking this is one of those unicorns that has like the little like uh goatee
Oh,
thing
yeah,
here.
yeah.
You know, almost like one of the more I don't want to say sleazy car salesman, but like the one that's got like the little weird soul patch or whatever like that. He's trying to sell you a car, and you're just like, I don't know about this soul patch guy. Um, all right, but we need to have him say some sort of line right here. So I'm just gonna grab this little bit of these vectors right here and just put the pivot point where his head would rotate and just sort of knock his head back a little bit. So how we feeling about this vehicle here?
I think we've established that the Minotaur has no intention of buying any cars.
Yeah. So how we feeling about this? And then we are going to keep, this over the shoulder sort of thing. And remember, horse is going to stay on the right, or unicorn is going to stay on the right, not a horse. And then we're going to have Minotaur up here because he's gigantic. And well, I don't know.
Does it come in a different shade of beige?
Yeah. Well, maybe give him a big ring on the nose too. I'm not entirely sure why, you know, steers and other animals like that get the big ring put in the nose. Do you know why?
I don't know, but if someone who's watching the show knows, they can let us know through the chat.
I imagine to have to do something with controlling them. And it's like if you got a
Yeah,
ring in
that
your
sounds about
nose and
right.
somebody pulls on it, you're going to go that way because you don't want your nose ripped out. So I imagine it has something to do with that, but I'm not entirely sure.
I think you
So
might be right there.
some like nice tented hands and like just gigantic forearms. Well, my therapist says that that's getting into Woody Allen stuff though. Don't know if we want to do that.
Let's avoid that for now.
Yeah. Well, I try not to just make impulse buys, but maybe a little conversation. And then we need just a hint. So we're gonna put this. We're gonna put the minotaur here on a lower level, and since we need an overlay underlay, this guy's got to go up a little bit farther. And then we'll put layer C. We'll put the car in question, which obviously he's way taller than. Well, actually, we can put it even lower than that. Just right down here, a little side view mirror and. Ooh, I know. What about like a hood antenna? It's like right there, and he just kind of grabs it and like accidentally snaps it off or something. That'd be
I
funny.
like that. Yeah.
Just snap. Now that we have this sort of set up, we should probably put some more of those little banners and stuff in the background. Maybe they're having like, deals fit for a king. Then other cars and stuff in the back. Often, and here's a little storyboarding thing. If you have what it was basically the equivalent of a crowd scene, a lot of times if you stage it where it's a little bit more of an upshot, then you can often cheat a little bit of the crowd out without losing anything, without losing any potency to your storytelling. So the more you know.
And your animators will love you.
Yeah, because I mean, there's sort of a rule, not a rule, but a rule of thumb for me that like if there is a big crowd of something, you have to show that something at least once. Because if you have a baseball stadium or soccer stadium, football stadium, whatever, full of people, you're not going to get that impact unless you see the whole thing. But that doesn't mean that whole thing has to be in every shot. You know what I mean? So you can get away with like large foreground characters blocking the mass of folks, but then just have like a few people here and there to populate it. If you notice in a lot of the old cartoons, like they will be just like little splotches of paint, essentially.
Suggestions of characters.
Yeah, more of an impressionistic view of a crowd of people. And then let's have him just sort of like, like move it back and forth. So move that over here, and then we'll grab the OOUL, and we'll just take that. And because this is a fun bit of Toon Boom vector graphics, we can just skew that right there. So we don't have to worry about it. Now we have that. So now we need to fix the Minotaur's arm, which again is ripe for the skew tool. We can just move that into place. then give this part here just a little stretch. And now we've got functional arm. I mean, if you really want to get crazy with it, you can adjust practically everything to fit, but we don't need to get too nuts with it. Then we're just going to copy and paste this panel to give it just a 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then snap.
I feel like you need to have the unicorn look down and kind of question his decisions in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so we have left, right. Okay, now we need another one to the left. We have start on left, right, left, right, left, and then snap.
I do really love the that line underneath the unicorn's eyes. It says everything right now.
It says, I'm tired and I don't want to be here. I'm a mythical, magical creature that's supposed to be healing people with my tears. Not, oh, that's a phoenix, right? That's a phoenix. Heals people with their tears. Unicorns heal people with their blood, I guess.
It might be Harry Potter lore.
That might be Harry Potter lore, yeah. His old snake face, who doesn't like people saying his name. That was one of his deals, wasn't it? Okay, I'm going to take this little bit of antenna that he broke off and put it on the actual minotaur layer, because then I can have it be a little bit underneath. So it looks like he's actually holding it. So and snap. And sometimes on a board, you can get away with a little bit of a, boop, 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 boop. Just a little indication. But there's a danger there in that sometimes animation will follow you up and then put that little snap in there that you didn't want, and your director will be like, "Hey, take that out." So, because we don't want whoever's animating this to put that little snap in there. This isn't a comic strip after all. It's motion, dang it. Then they storm off with their cigar in hand and, go and torment some other poor soul. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that what being a director's like?
Most directors don't have a cigar in hand. I'm thinking of J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man comics.
We need more pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Get on that, Parker. We need more pictures of Spider-Man. Yes, sir. Let me go find some. Here, sir. Here's Spider-Man having a donut at lunchtime. An hour ago.
Speaking of like directors, when you're mentoring artists, do you have advice that helps them improve their skills when they're practicing?
Yes. One thing that I always say is try to be an avid student of facial expressions, and also just like work on your storytelling in whatever way you can, whether it be like, oh, this thing happened to me today and let me tell you about it, to like, writing short stories, or just something where you're telling a story, and developing that skill as an entertainer. I think a lot of times we get caught up in the drawing and the doing of something that we sort of forget that we're also, like, the core of our job is entertainment, right? Like, you are an entertainer. You are a person that is going out and being entertaining to others. So don't forget that when you're drawing, like, be enthralling.
Someone has to follow what you're telling them.
Huh?
And people have to be able to follow what you're telling them, right? Because when
Yeah.
you're sort of doing storytelling and you're drawing faces, that's putting out a plot and also acting.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I say, it all comes down to being an entertainer, because entertainers understand that sort of stuff, and not everybody does. You have to be able to be, clear in your communication. I think it helps sometimes if you're involved in some sort of theater production or something like that, where you're learning what proscenium acting is, and you're learning what, like, um, how to stage a scene for maximum effect for an audience. Film is obviously different, and you can
Were
always
you
go out and
involved
take
in
your
theater
iPhone and make a
production?
film. Huh?
Were you ever involved in a theater production?
Yes, actually, I was in high school,
What
and
was the production?
two in high school. I was in The Music Man, and I was also in Guys and Dolls.
Oh, those are those are fun plays.
Yeah. I passed up the Sky Masterson role because I wasn't able to put in the time. So I ended up being the cop, and that was fun because you get to start the show as the cop. Okay, so we've got him sort of breaking this thing, and then we're going to copy that and just give him a quick little, should he fix it, or should he just like sweep it behind and be like, yeah, hey, look at that. I don't know.
I think it's funnier if he sort of hides it and points somewhere else.
We got to get rid of all these extra lines that we don't need now. And then
Mike, my question for you is, does the unicorn care?
absolutely not. Could not care less. And that's I don't know if you've ever heard. There's a Weird Al song called "Word Crimes" that he put out a while back. Um, that's why I always make sure that I say "couldn't care less" as opposed to sometimes when people say, "Oh, I could care less." No, that means you do care, but a little. You couldn't care less means that you don't care at all. Um, and then let's see, just a little button on the end of this scene of him going like, trying to make small talk to deflect a little bit about what he's done. So, what about this?
Let's see. Did you know hooves are flexible and they're basically like hair?
Yeah. So, and then I think we can go back to this shot. Yeah. You gonna buy this car? What's going on here?
Oh, you need the arm behind the back holding the broken antenna.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we do. So let's undo that change. Thank you for continuity check. Always check your continuity, folks. I did not do so, and I was rightly called out on it. So make sure that you are hooking up your drawings so they are consistent, standing amongst one another. So let's put the broken antenna here. Actually,
So we're
no.
talking a little bit
Point
earlier
would
about Hanna-Barbera cartoons and the Warner Brother cartoons in the oh geez, my um, but are there artists whose work inspires or influences the way you draw and whose work you admire?
Oh, there's a lot of artists that I admire. I I'm a real big Bill Watterson fan because I find his work just so inspirational and fun. There's
Sort of
always
going
something
from
fun to
monogamous
look
to
at. Well, and but the thing is, he comes up with such interesting compositions. You know, I remember, especially in the more fantasy-ish sequences, where
Spaceman
like,
Spiff.
oh yeah, Spaceman Spiff, and a lot of that sort of terrain is modeled after places like Arches and stuff in southern Utah and the Southwest deserts. Um, but you don't feel Southwest desert; you feel outer space. You know, some foreign alien land. So I think that that's really useful in terms of being able to take a subject matter and take a reference without just being absolutely faithful to the reference material and having it become something that you need it to be for the story you're telling. I think that's absolutely a fun thing. Um, Sometimes I think with references we get a little bit too literal as artists, and that can be somewhat detrimental
Yeah, I
to
think
just
that's
the
fair.
fantasy environment of it. Huh?
I think that's fair. And I also think, too, like we've established 10 episodes into this show that you're very good at improvising storyboards. But is there anything that helps you when you find yourself stuck and out of ideas?
Going opposite to the grain, and by that I mean do something that I haven't been doing. If I've been drawing a lot of robots or something like that, like like go the opposite way of robots. And draw like plants or um, there's just a lot of stuff that you can do as an artist to kind of stay creative. If you're drawing things that are cute and bubbly and all you find yourself drawing is cute and bubbly things, draw something terrifying. you know See if you can do that, flex that muscle. I feel like art in a lot of ways is the same as you know your physicality. Like the more effort you put into it, the buffer you're going to get, right? Or the more fit you're going to get, stronger you're going to get. So, and the way you do that in exercising, and obviously I'm a fitness expert, is you can only see part of me, but yeah, I'm totally a fitness expert from here down, right? No, I'm not. But I do know that you have a leg day, you have an arm day, you have a core day, like that. So it's the same thing in when you're working on your art. There's a day where you can draw cute, bubbly, round, squishy things, and there's another day when you can draw like angular, terrifying monsters, and other times where you can draw things that are more mechanical. Open up your repertoire of stuff and your visual library in your brain. And then taking reference material, you can use that reference material as kind of like fuel for your designs or for your stories or whatever, without necessarily having to be absolutely literal to the source.
So take this material and then turn up the dials on something, make it a little bit more angular or a little bit more
Sure.
organic.
What's happening here? You gonna buy a car or what? I think with characters like this, all you really need is that one eyebrow raise, or not even that much.
Yeah, I feel like the less you do, the funnier it is.
Yeah, I think so too. And then maybe like a slight head turn. or so one little fun thing with head turns is sometimes you can just grab a couple of things and shift them around. And it makes for a really convincing head turn. Some things get thinner over here. Some things get thicker over there. So let's see. So this would go over here a little bit. This would just slightly shift over here. And then, we can also do a little thing where we just tilt the head slightly. And it gives us just that little touch that we were looking for. So, buying a car or what? There we go.
All right, we've got about 12 minutes left. Do you want to do the run through?
Sure. And sometimes I feel like it should be a 2-hour show because we get like a setup and then we hardly get into. We never finish the story. Maybe we need to do an episode called Finishers, where we just take all the previous boards and finish them all. Tell us in the chat if that's something that you'd want to see. Okay, so we got close up, kicking tires, boop, boop. And then we cut to a unicorn and a minotaur, and the minotaur gets up, and the unicorn says, "So, what do you think?" The guy says, "Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a big decision and all, and maybe I should think." Oh, you ever have a problem with your hooves? No. You gonna buy this car or yeah? So that's kind of what we got.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us once again for Collaboratory. Do you have any projects or topics you'd like to draw our attention to?
Yes, actually, Housebroken is a show that had been working on. It just premiered yesterday, so season 1 is now on Hulu. So go ahead and check it out. It stars Lisa Kudrow and several other awesome people like Will Forte, and check it out.
I'm really excited about that show.
Housebroken.
All right, and if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to visit blog.toonboom.com for a recent interview with 2D effects artists Chris Graff and Jason Keyser. And I also just want to take a moment to offer a warm farewell to our producer, Derek Struble, who will be moving on from Toon Boom and our shows to other projects. And I think it's fair to say that Derek is the reason why we started streaming on Twitch. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of our team, and we look forward to seeing what you do next. These streams will continue, and we have exciting interviews planned. So until next time.
See you.